Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Koyoshi, 1907, here with another video. Where, in the previous episode, we left off trying to do our 200% walkthrough of Metroid Prime 1, more specifically Metroid Prime Remastered for Nintendo Switch, which we are playing on the Switch 2, and somehow, despite missing a couple of items, we managed to get our 100% setup done. I'm not actually going to use a guide for this way because I kind of know what to do now. There are 4 more scans left. We know exactly where they are. One of them is midway for the impact crater. The other 3 are the bosses that we must take out. So yeah, now that that setup is all done, it's time to finally defeat the final bosses once and for all. Just a fair warning though, they are the most difficult. You do get a save point in between these. I know that I'll be getting 100% completion. All I'll check is that I got the boss beforehand, before going to the save. And if I do that, and it does have the save data, it'll be fine. So, I guess you might have guessed, just to make sure nobody gets confused, I'll go ahead and just show what my scan data looks up to this point, so you can know how much you need. Don't worry if it's missing a few items, by the way. Some of them might be actually near the impact crater itself, which you have to go anyways to get one of the secrets. But as you can see, we have all pirate data, all treasure lore, all research, all artifacts. That's the main one you need in order to actually beat the game. And then going into the monsters, we should only have a few missing. That's what we're focusing on. If you missed any one of these just referred to earlier in the video, I'll be able to figure out, I'll be able to show you where the guide setup is. Honestly, without a guide, this probably would have taken a lot longer, but thanks to my guide, I'm only 6 hours in, and yeah, I said. So these are specific ones we want. If this is blank, don't be too worried. You could also get this in the impact crater, but assuming you guys followed exactly what I did, you should have one blank here. This is the Lumaget, the last main niner enemy in the game. And then we have these 3 over here. These are the final bosses. So if you have these then you're good to go. If you miss one of the non-missables, just refer to the guide to collect it. If you miss a collectible, also refer to the guide to collect it. If you missed any one of the non-missables, the missable items, which are pretty much all the bosses and certain key missables throughout the game. And here's one of the hidden scans, which is actually where I got my last pirate data the first time before, because I forgot to scan this. A little tricky, but it is what it is. A couple of our hidden scans are right here. And here. But, yeah, that's not what we care about, because we only care about going to this point. If we walk close enough, we will trigger the true final battle. Or the first of final battles, actually. But yeah. First we have to face Metroid Ridley. Last time I played, I actually think this is the harder of the 2 fights, just because he's rather annoying. We'll be taking him out using probably the safer strategy, but I also relearned a few things too. I remember that you can use power bombs to try and excite this guy a little bit, so I'm gonna try and do that, but I'll only use like a couple because I might want to save them for later. We'll start by first scanning him. You have to get pretty close to scan this feature. Morphology, Meta-Ridley, genetically enhanced Ridley metaform. Reborn and evolved through pirate technology, Meta-Ridley is a fearsome foursome. His horror hide is extremely resilient, chest which has thinner plane. The pirates have fused another potent weapons on this creature, including a multi-missile system, a kinetic breath weapon, and a mason ball launcher, ultra frame strike projector. Meta-Ridley is also formidable melee combat, making any sort of engagement a risky proposition. Basically warning you to try and not defeat him with melee. He's also pretty resistant to everything. The only thing that he could be damaged with is this, which I'm shooting with him right now. I'm gonna actually stay in both of me. You need to do a certain amount of damage first, I think. You want to use Boost Fall. It's usually your best way of damaging him and avoiding his attacks. Now, the reason why I'm going to be in Morph Ball for a bit is because there's a little trick you could do. Because once you do enough damage to him, he actually will try to come right down. Which he's about to do. And oh, I think I at least hit him there. It's a little weird, but if you do the setup just right, you can actually, I know, like, in an older version, power bombs would actually damage Meta-Ridley, and by doing that just right, you can barely, get him defeated. I only know that because in an older patch, you could actually damage him with power bombs, and if you laid the power bomb just right, it could be a little tricky, but you could actually do a lot of damage to him and, like, skip a phase or two. As you might have noticed, though, we're playing on the remastered version, so that's likely been patched out, so because of that, we're gonna have to deal with Ridley the normal way. Which makes him quite frustrating, because you basically have to keep using Plasma Beam over and over again. And it could take a pretty long time to actually defeat him. We pretty much interrupt him by going around, using Plasma Beam, going around, and then doing other stuff. I do not know a great way to dodge this attack, by the way. The only way I usually do it is to just try to stick with one of the edges of the map, shrinking yourself with the so you can kind of tell where he's coming from, and then go back to the next area. You kind of just have to roll around the map and you won't get hit. He also has a ground pound like some other monsters you might remember from Super Mario Bros. 3. By that I mean like Ludwig and those people, where you'll have to jump to avoid it. Okay, we jumped that time. We're getting pretty close to his second phase. Whenever he gets really weak, he's gonna start healing himself. And he'll also be unable to run away anymore. If it's one thing I don't like about this fight is that if you don't know how to do the power bomb strategy correctly, then this fight just takes life of time more than anything. Once you know what to do, it is usually the easier of the two fights, but it's otherwise really long and takes just lots of waiting around. Alright, we triggered the cutscene, so now he'll automatically come down. When he does so, he's gonna completely burn off his winds, and now he can no longer retreat. So now we just have of Ridley and himself. It really is a little bit random from here. You have to basically use a beam setup. Initially, I wanted to do a different strategy for doing this, but what I've mostly discovered is you pretty much just want to handle him like you did the other battles, where you're just going to want to use super missiles whenever his mouth is open. And you want to land this thing in the open mouth if possible. Otherwise, it could be pretty tricky. You might have noticed, though, Ridley is also a little bit random. Sometimes he'll just let you attack him right away. Other times he won't. I have to be pretty quick with your attacks, too, when he does that. This is also the part where Metal Ridley has the chance to win. Okay, there's the free attack. Okay. Never seen this strat before. Okay, I think you need to start doing it the normal way. So at this point, it's hard to actually hit him with the supers. I think now we have to just use Charge Plasma. Plasma probably does more damage anyway. Yeah, we have to do that way. So at first we could defeat it with supers, then later it just takes way too long to do it. This is probably the fight where you usually end up taking the most damage from it, because it really just takes forever to... This is the fight I'm probably most worried about. Hey, we actually hit him with the Charged Plasma this time. Plasma is his main weakness, so that's what we'll be using most of all. Probably should be also dash spamming when he does that attack. As you might have noticed, that a lot of this is random. If you're fast, you can sometimes get him to do a lot more than... Keep in mind, even though he is on at melee, he can sometimes do other stuff. Okay, we finally took him out. Now I know what to do. The super missile strategy worked good at first, but then it just became... He just kept on getting up too quickly. So we had to do the plasma strategy instead. That was definitely better than the last time I fought him now. Last time I fought him, it took even longer. We do also get a missile refill, so It's not like it's really different. Alright. So the only thing we're checking now is, logbook. Features. It's so easy to miss one of these. Like, it's so easy to just go turn deaf for some reason and just completely forget, oh, we need to scan an enemy. But anyways, there's 3 more scans now. I go, surprisingly, the narrator doesn't say impact radar here. I think the narrator would, but they don't. And here we go. Now, while this may look like the Phazon, it is not anything close to it. Anyways, Vumaget can only be found here. Natives of Talon 4, the Vumaget travel and swarms increase their odds of survival. They absorb and radiate Phazon energy, making these swarms a threat. We will take them out, because they have a chance to drop some items. One of those being power bombs. We can only get power bombs at the start of this area. Now here's the tricky part. This is the part I probably least like most of all. Because of the way it's set up, we have to basically do a bunch of dodging. And initially when I tried to do this, I kind of struggled. Thankfully now I actually kind of know the route, but as you might have noticed, the big trick here is you can't just jump on the orange platforms and get through. The most annoying part is these Metroids, though, because they will just keep on interrupting you. Whatever you do, do not attack them. If you do, they'll just split off, and they'll keep coming back over and over again and just become a really big nuisance. Midway up, we get a point to refill the missiles. Make sure to do this. If you had 100% items from before, you'll definitely want to do this because you'll be using a lot of them in the next battle that we do. And then from here, we have to go kind of a really weird route around the map. But yes, these Metroids will just keep charging us. If they charge and you aren't already moving, you'll probably just want to jump off. Also, that was not even my fault there. The Metroid just have to. Again, it stopped me at the exact spot. That's the one troll that I don't like about this area, is it has a little bit of RNG, which can be a little bit annoying from times. You pretty much have to get lucky at that. Oh, wait. I forgot to get the save. Whoops. Guess what? We're doing that again because I definitely want to make sure we get the save here. See, I thought the save was the one that was higher up, but that isn't the case. It's actually very important we save because it's also the only way we can get our health refilled. And yeah, going into that Metroid fight without full health, Metroid Prime that is very not advised. So yeah, we're saving for sure. That was my own fault. I only just now checked and figured that out. My bad. Honestly, that's fine now. It doesn't actually take that long to climb. It's just annoying due to the fact the Metroids just keep chasing you around. And basically forcing you to stop briefly just to get them off your freaking face. Because that tends to happen a lot. I keep trying to do that, and it's so annoying. That's why this part is can be somewhat annoying. Anyways, we have Lumaget, we have Metroid. This is a good save. So now we'll keep this save because if we come back, we can have warp later, and we should be fine. Okay, we still took a bit of damage, but honestly, I could care less. Anyways, the tricky part here is I kept trying to jump from this one straight to the right, and I could never make it. I believe there might be a skip that lets you do that, but for now, we're just kind of continuing on. These enemies also could get really annoying. Sometimes they'll just straight up physically block your way. I don't like that you also slightly hop off to the left or right whenever you them off your hand. So that means you could sometimes just randomly fall down for no reason just because Samus refuses to jump the way you want. Oh, the more reason why this part is really annoying. Your best bet is to just keep running left and hope that they do not attack you. They could also sight you from pretty far across the city, as you can see, and because they are fissure Metroids, we never want to attack them, because all that will do is make the setup tricky. So, by the way, normally you're supposed to do this big puzzle. I hate puzzles, so I'm just gonna skip it instead. And I did it frame perfectly. What I mean by that is by doing it correctly, I actually only took like 1 hit point of damage. Oh, by the way, if you missed the locked door, you might be able to get it here, because this also has a locked door room that you can go into, but only at the very start of the fight. Otherwise, locked door can be missed, potentially, if you forget about it. Other than that, though, this is it. The final battle against the real final boss, Metroid Prime. As most final bosses go, he does have multiple phases. And he looks very similar to how the Power Wave Troopers behave, in that you need to damage him with specific weapons. Morphology. Metroid Prime. Highly evolved Phazon producing light form. The aberration known as Metroid Prime is a source of Phazon, making it immensely powerful. A genetic form makes it susceptible to certain weapons from free fears. Head is truly vulnerable. Other attacks are a nuisance. Offensively, Metroid Prime has a number of natural mechanical weapons as social. These include Ultra Frigid Breath, multi-missiles, snare missiles, particle wave projectors. A bunch of strafe and barbed carefulness makes it lethal in immediate combat. Maximum final power when engaging this enemy. That's basically the game's wording that this fight can be really hard. Now, the first phase of Metroid Prime is incredibly straightforward. We start by immediately using AoE moves right away. Of the attacks he can do, most of them are fairly easy to avoid. Beam is one of them. The real tough one is later, once we've got him into the next part of his phase 1, which this is just, phase 1 of the fight, and then side 2 is where the thing gets really tricky. Anyways, every time he does the yellow pattern, that's ideally the one we want to see, because we can just use super missiles to skip that phase immediately. However, I'm not always confident on my missile grab strats, so what we're doing is basically spamming charge shots to defeat him the first time in each of these phases. By the way, do not go down the middle. That's the thing that'll attack whenever you go in the middle. Later on, you will have to go in the middle, but otherwise, just avoid it. Once you know what to do, though, this first phase has mostly easy attacks. The real tough part is later, when he starts throwing out these big beams, which you have to hit with the correct charge normally to destroy them. Alright. Phase 1, Part 2 done. I'm just gonna call this like that, because he has like a true final phase. And I scanned him, right? Yeah, okay, I did. That was weird. I don't know how he caught me at that. Like every other fight, we're probably going to want to do a bunch of scan dashing, or, well, regular dashing in this case. Avoid him. This part is also easy because the middle part is the only one blocked off, but it's also incredibly easy. Alright, this is the part that I'm worried about. To get through this, you have to quickly remove these with a charge shot. If you remove them successfully, you can actually get more missiles to use. Now that we're in this part, we're going to start using our cheap attack setups. And by cheap attacks, I mean the power-ups we collected earlier. Yeah, remember those power-ups? The power-ups we almost never used with the setup? This is why I mentioned that this part is going to be pretty easy. Okay, I had the boost ball ready, so I was able to avoid that attack. But yeah, all of our power-ups, besides just the super missiles, but like everything else, will be used here. You might have noticed, though, there is no clear pattern to him. Probably the trickiest part about this fight is his pattern is very random. He just picks whatever color he wants, and sometimes he trolls you later. Once he gets into the third phase, he'll become extra trolly. Ooh, that was just in time. He was about to deploy his super bombs, but this time we beat him before he can even attack with them. So he went straight into the setup for the next phase. Okay, now we finally got Flame. But first he's gonna fake us out, clearly. He has the chance to change. Okay, took a bit of damage there, but that's alright. And this is the one time we actually have to go into the middle, unfortunately, because the game doesn't give us much of everything to do. Alright, and now here's the other strategy you can do. If you get really tired, you could just drop a power bomb. And if it's close enough, you could just destroy the items that way. That's the easy way to destroy those annoying attack things, so you don't have to deal with them. And we're gonna probably do that because we're gonna get damage otherwise. If you're too slow, then you will take a lot of damage. So this is the part I mentioned where Metroid Prime can now start trolling you. He has a chance to just randomly change to a completely different section. This is also one of the last parts of the phase, but it's also one of the longest parts of the phase. But yeah, this is the part I mentioned where he can just troll and just decide to change to something else. Okay, that time the ice spreader connected. Ice is actually one of the ideal ones you want to get. Because if you get that, then Metroid Prime could be toast pretty easily, because that does more damage than the other things combined. So you want ideally either ice or weakness to super missiles. And just like that, the first part is already done. But we're not done yet. That was actually its shell we destroyed. This is the true phase 2, and that's why I said it's a phase 2, because, yep, there's a part 2 to this final battle. You get only one chance to scan this guy. You can scan him later if you miss him, because briefly he will switch weaknesses, and at one point you will be able to see him in the combat visor again. That's the only other time you can scan him otherwise. But if you want to do it right away, you want to do it here. Morphology, Metroid Prime. The core sentience of Metroid Prime. Scans indicate that Phazon energy form Metroid Prime is available to all conventional weapons. Only attacks from a Phazon-fused arm cannon will damage it. It generates pools of Phazon when it attacks. Use this to fuel your suit's plasma weapon system. The entity can also spawn Metroids to assist it in battle. Render yourself invisible when it does so. But more importantly, we have completed 200% now. We've scanned 100% of the logbook, which have unlocked new extras in the main menu, and that's our 200% done. Now, I would say this part is interesting, but it's not. Surprisingly enough, and I'm pretty sure many Metroid Primes will already know this, this is actually usually the easier part. His attacks are even more predictable and do as much damage. In exchange, he can get a little tricky. There used to be a trick, by the way, a lot longer ago. But there used to be a trick, by the way, in the original game, which likely has also been fixed, but it's possible to cancel the animation of your pool going in to damage Metroid Prime by walking out of the pool and then immediately damaging him again. And by the way, I did not mean that in a weird, like, literally damage him normally. So this is the normal way you do it, but... Okay, I guess I should probably mention, but yeah, there's a little trick where you can do even more damage to him than you normally would be able to. The idea is basically, if you attempt to attack Metroid Prime... Oh, he's right in my face. Okay. Perfect. He's down to half health. But yeah, basically the trick is, if I were to walk into one of those pools of Phazon, and then immediately walk out as it damages him, I can make the pool last twice as long as it normally would. I believe that was fixed in the remastered version to where now it just damages him normally again, so we kind of have to skip it as a result. Okay, we're starting to run low on power bombs, so we'll have to take these guys out the normal way. It's also possible to skip fighting them entirely. Other than that, though, Metroid Prime himself is not that hard, really. Obviously, we could use that trick to make it go faster, but because Prime 2, or his final form, doesn't have a trick to deal with, we can't really do that. And also, the glitch got fixed anyway. Okay, we'll get rid of this guy, and I don't know if I've ever shown how these guys work, but they are definitely the most annoying version of the Metroids to deal with. Hence why you just want to usually power bomb them to get rid of them right away. Basically, if you hit them more than once, they'll split into 2 copies, and then you'll have to destroy those copies. Those are the only other times we would use missiles, is to just destroy them. Fortunately, we can't... Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, we can't really do that very efficiently. So that's, again, the last time where our power bombs come in. So... Guran, this is the only time you want to actually be using power bombs, because obviously you can get the enemies dead a lot easier using that. Anyways, ideally you save these more towards the end though, because towards the end is when Metroid Prime starts getting really annoying. I don't think I was being efficient, so we have to do one more cycle before we take him out. This is another part where we could scan him, but we already scanned him for 100%. By the way, I'm sorry if I did talk through all that, but I just wanted to prove my point here. Since he was almost dead, it makes no sense to go for the Metroids at that point. So, we've now defeated him. This time for good this time. Metroid Prime is now hopefully defeated. But he doesn't like dying, so instead he's gonna steal our prize. Our big prize, in fact. The Phazon suit. If it worked so hard to get, we lose now. He gets it instead. And now we have to get out of here. Failure collapse imminent. Evacuate immediately. Still don't know why AIM doesn't talking commentary on this part, but that's fine. We should get a live commentary here. If you're playing the Europe version or Japanese version, you would get commentary at the end of this. So we'll get to see that. I didn't actually finish Metroid Prime Remastered. Alright. Yeah, what exactly? What fate awaits her? Now, if you got at least 90%, you get to say the proof that Samus is indeed a girl, if you haven't already known that from before. She doesn't take off the full suit in this mode for some reason. Most fans will remember that she'll take off the full suit and be in what we effectively call the Zero suit. Oh, during the ending. Otherwise, though, yeah. We're done with that. And there you go, guys. That is Metroid Prime Remastered. Done with 200% completion. We're not going to actually show much because, honestly, it took quite a while to get through this game just once, but, although, what am I kidding? This is definitely one of my faster playthroughs I've done. All this aside, I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad to have gotten this done just before Metroid Prime 4 releases. By the way, some of these videos will be coming out at weird times, so just so you know, if this video comes out at a weird time, it's not bad. I do like making sure my other videos get finished, so when this video comes out, it'll already be 5 days into 5 days or so into Metroid Prime 4's release, which I did already pre-order. So I'll be playing that. That as my next playthrough, and yeah, I guess I should have mentioned, this wasn't just a weird prep setup. This is prep for Metroid Prime 4, because we are going to do a blind playthrough of that. I have no idea if I'm gonna get scan percent, so I will probably hide and just show that this will be just a normal 100% item collection seed. If for some reason there's a missable that I didn't know about, we'll probably just say that I had to go back and redo a playthrough to get that done. Other than that, none items should be missable. I'm more worried about just beating the game at that point, but yeah. Metroid Prime 4 will be, of course, a blind 100% playthrough. Anyways, Metroid Prime 4, that's my next playthrough I'm going to be doing. We'll try to do a 200% run where we go for scan 100% and play through 100%, but I don't think I'll get it done on my first one without a guide. And also, I will be still looking up a guide, but only if I get stuck, though. With the game's hint system, I probably will be fine, at least for beating the main game. I'm more worried about finding the items than anything. Our best bet is probably just use the hint system to figure out where everything is, look for everything, and then just focus on every stuff. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, other than that, we did it. We've 200%ed Metroid Prime, and just know that Metroid Prime 4 will be coming up in our future. So yeah, pretty exciting game. This is definitely one of the better series out there. I haven't played a Metroid game, by the way, since Metroid Dread on this channel, so I'm glad I was able to do it correctly. You might have noticed, but yeah, I was pretty great at this game, and that was not for some weird, dumb reason. I beat the GameCube version back in 2019 or something like that, And then more recently, to try and practice for this run, I beat the Metroid Trilogy version. Yeah, I'm a big collector like that. I had the Wii version, so I beat that as well. Just Metroid Prime 1, of course. I didn't get a chance to play the other two games much at all, but yeah. I at least know enough about their storyline that I'm not going to be too minded. Other than that, though, yeah, we're pretty much done. Also, can't we just, okay, we can't skip this one, Jin. In a different credits, it lets us fast forward for it by just holding down a certain direction. So I guess we're watching these. By the way, people, I'm not going to say this to be weird, but this is actually a true fact I'm about to tell you. I'm not sure if any of you all have been, like, trying to pay attention to the credits during the sequence, but you might notice, if you can look at these credits close enough, particularly towards the end, you will notice that something very weird is missing. Oh, goodness, my breath's already getting crazy. I don't know if this actually, if people worked on the original version. I think this might just be the new version. Who knows? But if you pay close attention, then this might have actually been an older release of this, or it also could have just be right now and not be a weird bug or something. But if you guys paid close attention enough to the credits, you might notice something very tricky is actually off. What's that trick, you may ask? Well, Retro Studios actually did this game dirty. Why? They failed to, they failed to recognize the original development staff. You know, the development staff that worked on the original GameCube game, and the staff that worked on the Metroid Prime Trilogy version of the game. They don't appear here at all. In fact, they are not credited in the staff credits as well. In fact, this is all we get. It says, based off the work of Metroid Prime, the original Nintendo Gamecube and Wii versions, development staff. None of the development staff go credit at all. That's all they get. That's it. They did the original staff very dirty in this game, and it's very tricky. And yeah, that's why I say Retro Studios might have done these guys dirty. Now, because we did the 100% and beat the game at least once, we do also unlock the hard difficulty. Because I was more focused on doing a normal 100% playthrough, I will not be doing hard difficulty. All that does is basically increase the damage all enemies deal with you. There's also potentially other extras you can unlock for doing this, but I don't have time to go for that. I just wanted to focus on doing the 100% stuff. You might have noticed we also got new extras a lot because we got 100%. We actually did it in sub 7 hours in game time, which is probably my fastest yet. I'm gonna try and stay silent, folks, because this is a secret ending you get. Okay, that was actually very quick. Yes, I want to save. This confirms that we've done it. The only other thing I want to do now is just go to the extras to confirm check everything. And now we can unlock also a hard mode setting. So as you can see, now there's 3 difficulties to choose from. Hard mode, really all that changes is enemies just do more damage to you, so the fights are actually really tough. The final bosses especially become even more frustrating, but if you know what to do, Metroid Prime can be dealt with basically the same way as before. Though I think enemies may also take more hits to defeat, I'm not sure, but we otherwise have 200% the game. We don't really care about doing any DLC. I just realized something, yes. It doesn't say all the items are locked. I assume we will get... I like how there's two different versions. This is for the OG game. This is all the OG artwork. You might have seen. And then this is a different version, but just for remastered. Which now uses the new models. It's quite a bit different. There's also different models here. If you're wondering, where you get the remaining unlockables, I do believe we have to finish hard mode for that. But as you can see, this is just some of the different things you can unlock. I think to get the secondary items, or the ones that we missed, I'm not quite sure, but I think you may also have to true 100% the game again by not only getting 100% items, but also 200% completion by also getting 100% scans while in the hard mode as well. But yeah, this is the only thing I wanted to show, the extras. This is what you unlock by playing through the game. You actually get quite a few to start off with, surprisingly enough, but you can only get more by finishing the entire game. If you want to have all the extras, you actually have to go ahead and beat this game twice, but that's not what I'm here to talk about, because we did finish this game, and yeah. That's going to be the end of the episode. And just to prove my point, there it is, Metroid Prime 4. See, I told you I installed it. So, in my next real playthrough, we're going to be playing this game. It's going to be really exciting. We have the Switch 2 version, of course, so that's what we're going to be playing. So, hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. Comment, rate, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video where, in the main playthrough, we will hopefully be tackling Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I have no idea how hard this game is going to be. If there is a normal mode, we're going to probably just stick with that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.